Cardi B has just secured one of the most significant victories of her career, walking out of a California courtroom completely cleared of a $24 million lawsuit. After years of tension, headlines, and speculation, a jury ruled that the Grammy-winning rapper was not liable for the alleged assault of her former security guard, Emani Ellis. The verdict is not only a personal triumph for Cardi B, but it also sends shockwaves through the entertainment industry, setting the stage for new questions about fame, power, accountability, and the risks of lawsuits against global superstars. To understand the weight of this victory, we have to go back to the very beginning. The year was 2018, and Cardi B's career was exploding. She had just cemented her place in hip-hop history with Bodak Yellow, a track that made her the first female rapper to top the Billboard Hot 100 with a solo single in nearly 2 decades. She was a household name, unapologetically brash, and celebrated for bringing raw honesty into an industry dominated by carefully curated personas. But behind the scenes, Cardi was also dealing with personal milestones. At that time, she was 4 months pregnant with her first child, a fact she kept private as she navigated the pressures of fame. It was during this sensitive moment that she walked into her OB/GYN's office in Beverly Hills. According to Emani Ellis, who worked as a security guard in the building, what should have been a routine visit turned into a confrontation that would alter both of their lives. Ellis later alleged that Cardi became combative, lunging toward her, scratching her face with long acrylic nails, spitting on her, and even hurling a racial slur. Ellis claimed that the altercation left her with a scar on her cheek, physical pain, and deep emotional distress. She said the incident derailed her professional aspirations, shutting down opportunities in both private security and law enforcement. For Ellis, this wasn't just a moment of conflict, it was the moment her future collapsed. In her lawsuit, Ellis accused Cardi of assault, battery, negligence, false imprisonment, and emotional distress. She sought damages totaling $24 million, a figure meant to represent not just medical costs and emotional pain, but also the wages and career trajectory she said she lost. Ellis portrayed Cardi as a volatile star who crossed the line, arguing that her celebrity status should not shield her from accountability. But Cardi B's story was vastly different. From the start, she denied ever putting her hands on Ellis. She claimed that Ellis had followed her, hovered too closely, and even tried recording her without permission at a time when she was desperately seeking privacy. Cardi admitted she was upset and shouted at Ellis, but she insisted she never struck her, never spit on her, and certainly never used a racial slur. Her defense even turned attention to her nails, the long, coffin-shaped acrylics adorned with rhinestones that had become part of her trademark look. Far from being weapons, Cardi said, those nails made it nearly impossible to scratch anyone, and she challenged Ellis's story as physically implausible. The case simmered for years. Meantime, Cardi B's career soared higher. She won a Grammy, delivered hit after hit, and became a cultural phenomenon. She also built a reputation as someone unafraid of legal battles, famously defending herself in lawsuits against bloggers and internet personalities who spread damaging rumors. But while Cardi was thriving publicly, Ellis's lawsuit never went away. For Ellis, this wasn't a tabloid feud. It was a fight she believed could restore her name, her dignity, and her career. Finally, in the summer of 2025, the case went to trial. And from the moment jury selection began, it was clear this wouldn't be just another lawsuit. Every detail of the courtroom was scrutinized. Fans camped outside. Reporters filled the gallery. And both women entered the trial with everything on the line. Ellis testified with emotion, describing how the alleged incident left her with a permanent scar and a sense of humiliation that haunted her. She said the attack had not only affected her physically but also damaged her reputation in her field, shutting down opportunities she had worked years to secure. She presented herself as the victim of a powerful celebrity who thought she was untouchable, insisting that the court hold Cardi accountable. But then came the witnesses. A receptionist who was present during the altercation testified that she had actually been scratched by Ellis, not by Cardi, when she tried to break up the confrontation. She said she never saw Cardi touch Ellis, nor did she see any injuries on Ellis after the alleged attack. Cardi's OB/GYN, Dr. David Finca also testified, confirming that he did not witness any physical contact between the two women. Instead, he described Ellis as being overly aggressive and Cardi as being primarily verbal, though clearly upset. These accounts undercut Ellis's story dramatically. Then came Cardi herself. On the stand, she delivered testimony that was fiery, emotional, and deeply personal. She described years of being the target of lawsuits from people she believed were simply trying to profit off her fame. She said she was tired of working tirelessly for her money, only to have it threatened by claims she insisted were false. Cardi admitted she raised her voice that day, but she told the jury point-blank that she never touched Ellis. Her frustration boiled over at times, with sharp words aimed directly at Ellis's legal team. But beneath the anger, there was also exhaustion. Cardi painted herself not just as a celebrity under attack, but as a mother and a woman constantly forced to defend her name in the public eye. The courtroom saw its share of dramatic moments. At one point, paparazzi outside the courthouse provoked Cardi with invasive questions about her pregnancy, leading her to snap and throw a marker in frustration. Inside, her bold personality often clashed with the formal atmosphere of trial proceedings, making for viral clips that circulated widely on social media. And yet, these same moments reinforced her image as unapologetically herself, unpolished, passionate, and unwilling to play by anyone else's rules. When the time came for closing arguments, the contrast was stark. Ellis's team framed her as a working woman who deserved justice against a powerful star, while Cardi's lawyers painted Ellis as opportunistic, exaggerating a minor confrontation into a multi-million-dollar payday. The jury deliberated for less than an hour before returning a unanimous verdict. Cardi B was not liable. The reaction was immediate. Cardi cried tears of relief in the courtroom, later telling reporters that she felt vindicated after years of stress. She vowed that in the future, she would not hesitate to countersue anyone who tried to come after her with baseless claims. Yet she also surprised many by asking her fans not to target Ellis or her family online, a gesture that suggested that despite her anger, she wanted to put the ordeal behind her. Ellis, however, was far from done. She stood outside the courthouse, visibly shaken but resolute, saying she had no regrets. She insisted she told the truth and announced that she planned to appeal the decision. For her, the fight was not over, and she made it clear she would continue pursuing justice in the higher courts. The verdict comes at a pivotal moment in Cardi B's career. With her new album, Am I the Drama? Set to drop later this month, she now enters a new era with the weight of this lawsuit finally lifted. The title of the album feels prophetic, a nod to the way Cardi has been painted by both fans and critics, controversial, larger than life, and constantly at the center of headlines. With the trial behind her, Cardi is free to reclaim that narrative on her own terms. This case is more than just a legal victory. It highlights the challenges celebrities face in the courtroom, where every word, every reaction, and every action is dissected. It shows the difficulty of proving allegations without clear evidence, especially against a star whose platform and resources allow for a vigorous defense. And it underscores the risks for those who bring these lawsuits. Risks not just of losing, but of being painted as opportunists in the court of public opinion. But beyond the legal strategies and celebrity spectacle, this story remains deeply human. For Cardi B, it's the story of a woman protecting her reputation, her career, and her family's future. For Emani Ellis, it's the story of someone who felt powerless against fame and fought anyway, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Their paths collided in a doctor's office in 2018, and that single moment has now echoed for 7 long years. The jury has spoken. Cardi B is free of this lawsuit, her victory cemented not just in the courtroom, but in the eyes of millions who followed every twist and turn. But the appeal, the lingering questions, and the emotions on both sides ensure that this won't be forgotten anytime soon.
So what do you think?
Did justice prevail, or was this a case of fame overshadowing truth? Whatever your opinion, there's no denying that this trial will be remembered as one of the most gripping celebrity courtroom battles of our time. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.